Hello and welcome. Just set things up. Let's put some music on as well, why not? That's that done. And then Discord. So Discord is going out, but not gone out yet. So. And by the way, if I get distracted by something to my left, and if I need to somehow pause to put a cone on her, I've got the kitten here. The poor thing is not supposed to lick that wound on her back. And like when she got sterilized. And you know, it happens, and she's got staples there now because she did lick it and did untie it a little bit, and well, it happens. And she had a horrible journey to the vet today and cut her nose on the like while trying to fight her way through the box. And so she deserves my attention if she needs it, even during a live stream. So apologies if I do get distracted by that. I'll try not to, but we'll see. Right, well, let's get started in the meantime. So welcome to the daily NFT market health analysis with me, Daniel Tenner, aka Swombat, where we're looking at what's happening in the market based on data rather than vibes. Today we are seeing that, well, I mean, things could be worse. We were like, I was expecting maybe some kind of drop yesterday, and it's kind of rebounded again. So it's sort of held that it is a lower low, but it is not as low as it might be. It's a decisively lower low, but not a really, really low low. Not yet anyway. It might be a bit of a dead cat bounce and it might continue down, but it hasn't done so yet. And also for these other indices, we were looking at where they're going to break new lows after, you know, like having this pattern of hitting the lows 3 times and hitting it for a 4th time. And all of them have rebounded at the moment. So it looks like maybe we have a kind of floor on volumes in like across these indices that's held 4 times now. It doesn't mean it's always going to hold them. And you can see this is going down. That's not a good pattern. But you know, I'll take what good news I can squeeze out of these charts at the moment. If you look at, if we quickly glance at the bar charts, we can see that there's nothing specific, nothing special going on. As a reminder, these are here so that we can tell, like, these are here when things are shifting very quickly, and we want to be really like very close to the metal, like to figure out what's happening in the market. These will react faster than these charts. But and also they're here so that if we see something abnormal like this, for example, we can recognize what's happening and we can have a better sense of why the market is going up, which is one of the things that, you know, OpenSea general charts don't give us. So if we look at the longer term picture of the top 10, so as I said, there's now this kind of, we've now made a lower low here. We had the pattern of higher lows held for all this time, and now it's gone down. The prices are also still trending down, although they're kind of flat over the last couple of days. So they've gone back up and then they've gone back down. And volume has bounced up a little bit, but really not much to speak of. I mean, if we look at the bar charts for comparison, you know, we're just flattening out here. That's what's happening. And there was a couple of really low bars here. So we've kind of bounced up from those really low bars. And like the thing that worries me when I look at this is like, yeah, it looks better than if it was just a sharp drop, but I'm looking at this very recent pattern of exactly what happened after ApeCoin launched, which feels like almost we're getting a rematch of this, because there was like this sort of building volume and then 2 like peaks building up towards the volume, and then ApeCoin, and then it sort of like went down, up, down, up, down. And here we have two, like a build up, two peaks, other side, and then is it going to go down, up, down? Like maybe. I mean, it doesn't, like, just because that's what happened before doesn't mean it's going to happen again. But basically, even if I see this rebound here, unless I see it actually hold there for a while, because like what we saw here certainly is that it didn't, like, it kind of went up and then it sort of collapsed back down and then it collapsed even further. So unless I see something like where it starts to, like, you know, build up like this, like it actually forms a higher low. So I see it go up and then back down to a higher low. I'm gonna assume that we're in this pattern, and just, yeah, like, and the fact that the prices have gone down so low is not a great sign. Although another way to look at it is if the market was overpriced, which it probably was, then this might make the market more attractive to new entrants. Although I'm not sure who's entering the NFT market in these in these market conditions at the moment. So I'm not sure if making it more attractive actually helps. So right now it's more of a kind of fire sale going on. Everybody's selling the stuff that they have low conviction in or that they couldn't really afford to own. And others just holding because, yeah, like, you know, it's not the first time we go through a bear market. Although, you know, anyway, there's all sorts of circumstances which I'm sure you're aware of where, like, people are scared that things might get very bad for a very long time, and the fact is we don't know, and I don't know, and I don't have a crystal ball, and I can't tell you what is going to happen, but I can tell you what is happening, and what is happening is we have rebounded of this thing, and it's looking like the same pattern as, like, basically a month and a half ago, something like that, a couple of months ago. So it's like we're getting a rematch of a couple of months ago. Which might well be a rematch as well of what happened with, like, after the Mutant Ape launch. So every time Yuga Labs does something big, the market tanks. I'm going to start this as a meme, I think. By the way, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them at the end of the charts or during the charts if they're relevant to answer right away. If we look at the Zeneca old dataset, which, again, as pointed out yesterday, is a kind of an arbitrary data set. It's like a thermometer planted somewhere at a random point in a large pot to try and figure out what's going on. We'll have better indices once I get my new charting engine up so that I can compare things more easily, but that's what we've got for now. And here I was pointing out yesterday that we had like one here, one here, one here, and was this one going to hold, or were we finally going to break down below? So far, I mean, this is not the most convincing rebound, but we are not dropping like a stone anymore. Prices are continuing to drop, but it might be more visible here, actually. Yeah, prices are continuing to drop, but at the moment, this bottom is holding for a fourth time. If we look at Zeneca New, yeah, like there we also, well, we had slightly less visible here. It feels like the bottom that got hit was like here, and here it actually got breached, and here it's gotten breached again, basically. So I think the picture is less rosy for Zeneca New. So those more recent projects, like, interestingly, the older projects in Zeneca Old, which maybe were more selectively curated. I don't know how Zeneca selected them, but I think Zeneca New was a bit more permissive in what was included, and it seems to be doing worse than Zeneca Old. Again, once we have a better indexing engine, we'll be able to get some, like, better stuff, basically. Finally, if we look at the women-led projects index, which is another one that's had really poor performance anyway throughout, the prices have continued dipping. If we look at the short-term view here, yeah, prices still not looking great, although flatter over the last day. Like, we're getting this kind of crazy volatility. I don't know why it's bouncing all over the place like this. If we look at the bar chart, we can see that, yeah, it's just very, like, some 4-hour period there's hardly anything. Some 4-hour period there is actually, like, traffic. I don't know why. Like, I don't know if anybody knows why. It's like across multiple projects. It's not a single project that's doing this. For some reason, this index is highly volatile. Well, it's still nevertheless trending down. I mean, there is this kind of trend down that you can draw here, and yes, it's it's hit this 4 times now and rebounded each time quite decisively there. But there is this trend line here. At some point it's going to break through if the trend line continues, or like it's going to have to either start moving sideways and no longer have this upper trend line, or maybe change and start moving up, or is going to continue and at some point is going to break below. Like one of these two trend lines has to break at some point because they intersect. Like that's geometry, as we call it. And before I go into the crypto, yes, I have thought of doing Solana NFT charts. That requires me to get a whole different set of data. And as I'm rewriting the Ethereum NFT datasets engine at the moment, that's not like I'm going to rewrite that one first before the Solana stuff. But yeah, it will make sense to do a Solana chart, maybe even a combined Ethereum and Solana chart if I can figure that out. It should be figurable because like most of this is based on volumes rather than like as in on sales counts rather than Ethereum or Solana amounts. So it should be possible to add up the sales in the Solana marketplaces as well. I just need to go and get the data sets ready, which might take me a little while. So don't hold your breath. Thanks, Siri. I don't hold your breath for that one. But it like I want to do that. It's just a matter of time, because I'm just one person. And I don't think that this is like, I've thought about like, I could start a project to get other people to help me with making charts and stuff like that. But I don't think that quite works. It would be a kind of donation of like, well, give me some money so I can hire somebody to help me build this charting engine better. I don't know. Like, I don't want to start a charting business, so it doesn't quite work for me. But anyway, like, if you have some thoughts about it, feel free to share them. If we look at Bitcoin, we can see that I had predicted that we were going to hit that low here and cross it. We already crossed it. We're sort of hitting some resistance here, but my guess is we're going to break clean through it at some point. Maybe we'll hit some resistance for a few days here, but at some point we're going to break through it because I think the pressure is like nobody believes that this is going to go up at the moment. Although it could be that because nobody believes that it's going to go up, that's when it's going to go up. Once everyone's put their leverage shorts, like counting on the market dropping, there's going to be some whale that just buys 1 billion bitcoins and just gets it up like here just to wipe out everybody who like liquidate everybody who's put some leverage shorts there. But so one thing I don't do, even though I'm pretty sure that it's going down, one thing I'm not doing is putting any kind of leveraged positions in this, because like it's just too volatile and easily manipulated. It's so easy for a whale to come in and just shift this market back up to 40k. And if you've got a highly leveraged position here, you might lose all your money there, and then it will come back down. But in the meantime, you'll have like all the people who have leveraged positions will get wiped out, which is not is never good when that happens. Just to get a sense, like I'm no Ben Cohen, and you want to look at Ben Cohen's videos if you want to really get some like proper analysis of this. But if we look at the overall picture, people are saying, and it's quite fair, that we have basically been moving sideways since here. Basically, we've had a kind of sideways movement, and that's true. And now we're going to get a bit of more downward movement. I think we're going to retest these lows. And I think we're going to break through them, but I don't know. And what I'm looking for, and I keep talking about weekly volumes, this is the weekly chart that we're seeing here. And what I'm looking for, and I want to see in order to say that, okay, we're turning things around, is a weekly candle that's like this, that stands out. That you can see, and that's something that I learned from Ben Cohen. You can see that usually when there's a big market shift, you get this kind of massive weekly candles that show a lot of money buying in at that point. That happens also during boom times, like everybody's buying in because it's going up. But it also importantly happens during when there's a reversal. So when there's a proper collapse, at some point there's a massive weekly candle, which is very different from a daily candle, because we've had a few of those where like on the daily candle, it looks like a lot of volume here, but we don't see it on the weekly candle. So discount those basically. Just look on the weekly chart to decide whether we're seeing a turnaround. That's my entirely unqualified advice about crypto of the day. So I don't know if anybody has any questions. It's entirely fine if they don't. But if you do, I'm happy to try and answer them. Thanks for dialing in either way. I know it's not the most cheerful time to look at market charts. But, you know, it is what it is. And I think part of being an investor and a trader and a participant in this market as a kind of person who buys projects, for whatever reason you buy them, is to face the reality of what the market is doing at the moment. So, yeah, I mean, I hope I'll get to... I'll give you, since there's no questions yet, I'll give you a quick preview. It's kind of pointless, but I'll give you a quick preview of my... like the kind of the dashboard that I've been building, basically. Like, so this time I've got now, like this is just running on my local machine at this point. But I've got like a dashboard, like, so no more adding collections by hand. It basically can crawl OpenSea and like, might as well do this. And it will add projects to a queue and then process them into collections, which then in the collections, it can load, it can fetch the items and or refetch them from scratch. And it's a bit more clever about how it does this. And I'm going to have it all like set up on, I don't know why this is not formatted properly here. I'm going to have this all on a kind of nice, this is clearly not responsive design at this point. Why is this button not the right side? Okay, it needs to be at least this big. So it's not responsive design. I'm sorry about that. It's not meant to be. It's meant to be just functional. And I'll have a dashboard where I can manage this a bit better, because up until now, what I've been using is basically a Rails console, which looks something like, where's my console? Looks something like this. And I go and like type commands in it, and then things happen. And that's really rudimentary, and I want something better. And also there were issues with the charting engine. But this is probably all very boring, so I'm not going to go too much into it until I have something actually interesting to show, which hopefully I will, because I think I should be able to start squeezing some interesting things out of this engine relatively soon, once I've got the basics sorted. It's just, right now I'm just getting the really, like, the basic building blocks built. And I'm trying to build them properly, because the previous version was kind of hacked together while trying to figure out what I was trying to do. Now I actually know what I'm trying to do, and so I can, you know, build it properly and more cleanly separate, and that will make it easier for me to do stuff. And also it's got a user interface now instead of just being console based. Cool. So there doesn't seem to be any questions today, which is cool. I mean, there's not a lot to question about this market. It's basically just kind of uncertain but generally shit, and I think everybody knows that. And you know, if it starts to recover, if it changes direction, we'll be the first to know here. I still think that the top 10 is going to give us the earliest indications of something changing, although bear in mind that we're not really seeing what we've been hoping for, which was that kind of spillover between indices. At the moment, it's just the top 10 that's getting any kind of action, and everything else is just down. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you for your attention. See you in an hour for, or like in 40 minutes for the project review, which will be Deadfellas today. And if you haven't watched any of my project reviews, you might want to, because they help you understand how I evaluate projects, and that could be quite interesting. So, okay, take care, have a lovely day, and enjoy life. You're alive. It's really great to be alive. Even if you're a cat being taken to the vet, poor thing, she's now chilling here. She's been licking herself, and I've been watching her to make sure she doesn't lick her wound there. And she's been very good. She hasn't licked her wound. So hopefully she doesn't need to go to the vet. Well, she will need to go to the vet to get the staples taken out. But other than that, hopefully everything will be okay. Have a wonderful day. See you soon. Bye.